Hello, Professor. How are you?
Namaskar. I'm
Namaste.
fine.
Good, good, good. So you're based out of Jammu, is it?
Yes, I am based in Jammu. I joined in 2020 actually.
Oh,
And before that, I did my PhD from IIT Hyderabad. And I was working in Korea for 5 years in electronics engineering department.
I did see your profile. Yes.
And then I was in Italy for 5 years. And
Nice.
here uh, we are working on in department called Humanities and Social Sciences. So
It's
when did you
11
come back?
o'clock.
Pardon?
When did you come back?
Oh, no, I was here for the past 15 years now.
Okay, so you were in US and then you moved last
That's
15
right.
years.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been a long time.
Yeah.
So let me go. What I'll do is
Yeah.
I'll start briefly about what we do at Education Redesign,
Yeah.
and then I'll introduce you, sir, and then we'll get into the question and answer session.
Sure.
Okay? So, about us on Education Redesign. We are a global non-profit organization dedicated to improving education and openly propagating its recommendation frameworks, curricula, coursework, and professional development on a worldwide basis. Via answering the question, why, what, and how education and employment in the age or for the age of AI. That's the gist of what we do here.
Yeah.
We believe at every step in human civilization, from Stone Age to agricultural revolution to the industrial to the current digital age, new technologies have determined the type of economy and society, which in turn determine the type of education system. The last major changes to the historical education system took effect in the late 1800s as a response to the sudden growth in societal and human capital needs due to the Industrial Revolution. Humans were trained to use machines for mass production before. However, in the 21st century, the age of prosumers, things have transformed beyond any resemblance to that of the 19th century. However, the industrial society education system that is in practice today has a total disconnect with the current digital society. As technology has advanced in the last few decades, however, society has shifted from producing goods to generating information and rendering services. Therefore, our education system must be re examined in the context of the cultural evolution to see how its role can be redesigned to meet society's larger need. Machines today have evolved. They don't need humans for production. Artificial intelligent machines can now produce without human intervention. Machine learning is a self directed learning by doing. Human labor is now replaced by data points. These new artificial technologies are on the cusp of relegating humans to just consumption activity. Therefore, the core focus of our institution education redesign is to understand the causality between technology, economy, society, and the education and employment in the age or for the age of AI. This is the gist of what we do, sir. And in this context, what we have been doing is we've been organizing a series of podcasts, colloquiums, seminars, conferences. These are some of the ways by which we thought we could disseminate, at least share ideas among our peers. So, in this context, we have an eminent speaker today. Let me introduce you, Dr. Amitash Ojha, Associate Professor, Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, IIT Jammu. Dr. Amitash Ojha is a cognitive scientist and educator studying how the mind processes visual and verbal metaphor, creative creativity and emotions using tools like eye tracking, EEG, and fMRI. He holds a PhD in cognitive science from IIIT Hyderabad and has held research and teaching positions at Kyungpook National University, South Korea, and University of Cagliari, Italy, before joining IIT Jammu, where he is now an associate professor and head of the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences. alongside serving as an associate dean. He led as a head of the department, starting India's first Bachelor of Science program in behavioral science and predictive analytics at Jammu, IIT Jammu, driven by a broader push for experiential interdisciplinary learning in a system still largely siloed by discipline. Oh, wonderful. It's a great thing. His research spans human agent interaction, social robotics, and multiple intelligences, and more recently extends into the linguistic and cultural heritage of India's nomadic pastoralist communities. He has authored 30 plus peer reviewed publications with 1700 citations and has led over 3.5 crore rupees in funded research projects from bodies including the Government of India, Ministries of Tribal and Rural Affairs, and ICSSR and AICTE. Wonderful resume, sir.
Thank
Welcome. Welcome to the podcast. And I'm very, very amazed at the variety of qualifications and the variety of jobs you have undertaken, education that you have followed.
Actually, that is the basis for my interdisciplinary approach because I did my undergrad in commerce
I see.
and then I wanted to study something else and I took up masters in philosophy. And University of Hyderabad was the only university which allowed people who did not have an undergrad in philosophy. So it's in
Okay.
2005. So Indian
Okay.
education system pushes you in the same direction. It's very difficult to get out of that whatever you were doing earlier.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons we had to get into that.
No, no,
And then,
I'll start off the questions in that manner itself right away. See, right now, with the advent of AI, everything seems to be in a flux. We don't know anything about the past. We don't know what's happening right now. We don't know what the future is. So given that everybody is saying education going forward has to be multidisciplinary, it has to be a lifetime continuous learning because things keep changing very dynamically. And also they keep saying that it has to be just in time learning. We learn as we need things.
hmm.
And also they're talking topics like metacognition and other areas. So given that, how do you think our schooling and our students are going to have an education in the future going forward? How do you think it's evolving based on all these topics that are keeping coming up?
Yeah, actually, this is an interesting topic. Actually, we worked on some of the projects related to future of education, and I always give this example that think about banking. People always thought that banking has to be done in a bank. So people have to go deposit money and withdraw money from the bank. But things have changed. We hardly go to bank. So
Right.
when we talk about schools, it's quite possible that in coming years, schools will be a very different place. So education that you are getting even in our classes, when we take classes, students ask the same question. Sir, why should we come to your class? Everything is available on internet. Everything we have to find out. We can just explore it from ChatGPT or Claude. So that requires us to rethink about the structure of schooling. So what school teaches you? We have always been of this impression that okay, school teaches you content, but content space now is taken by AI.
Right.
Whatever content you can think of was available in books or in the heads of teachers, that is all taken up by AI. So
Mhm.
schools have to redesign themselves for giving something else that students need at this era. So for example, this we always talk about it in IIT system that only 40% is learnt in classrooms. Students learn more from peer reviewing, peer discussions, and what they in hostels they talk about. So
Right.
school has to become a place of those constructive discussions where students can bring out their creativity. Schools also need to teach them some of the skills that are considered metacognitive. So for example, social skills, how to ask questions, because that cannot be taught in anywhere else. Schools can teach. In classroom, when a student comes to class and then he asks or she asks questions, it's not that what question that person is asking. It's more about that that environment is allowing that student to ask questions. So art of questioning is also something that school must teach. I also feel that schools must also tell them something that kind of mini social laboratory where students can learn how to communicate with their peers, their seniors, their juniors.
When you say schools, we are talking about physical schools.
Physical schools, yes.
Okay.
So schools are not going away anyway. Schools give you degrees, schools give you some kind of credits, and there are some cases where they say that schooling was done in home. There are many people who say that I did my schooling at home, but what probably they missed is that peer discussion, things that happens only in a group. So just to point out that school is not just the content giver. It has to be redesigned as something which allows them to question, allows them to think more about things, how to interact in a society, creativity, and also some kind of laboratory where they can also do some kind of hands-on experience, which is not possible outside. So that's what I think that future schools should be.
Sounds wonderful. Yeah, yeah. Look, it's like when you use the word metacognition, it's thinking about thinking or learning about learning. When you take it to the next level, thinking about thinking,
Yeah,
right? The disciplines disappear.
yeah,
They become more knowledge. It's no longer going to be subject specific at a higher level. When
exactly.
you uh, so do you visualize and see that this discipline culture is only for the current system, and soon people are going to be because they are predicting that people are going to change jobs at least 12 times going forward, at least the current generations change careers also.
Yeah.
So given that they have to be picking up multidisciplinary skills all their life
Mm.
going forward. So how do you see a university or a college? Are they going to still be 4-year parking lots or a 2-year parking lots? Or you just keep going back and forth all through your life to the university campus and
Uh, no, I would not say that they have to keep on going to university after some time. There are some changes that have happened in last couple of years, and especially in new education policy that government of India in like 2020 introduced. The spirit is same that you have to become interdisciplinary. They have also given a lot of like spotlight on humanities and social sciences courses. But the question comes in that then what the university will do. So again, I will say that university gives you a degree, but what that degree certifies, it's not that again the content that you know. University should be in a position when we say interdisciplinary, university is like teaching them analogical skills, or some say that skills that you learn at some time but apply in different domains. So that meta level of skilling, acquiring that skill. When we say skill, we think of a particular specific skill, but universities must teach students critical thinking, decision making, communication, analogical reasoning, or reasoning in general. And these are some of the skills that can be applied in the same domain. So if you are, say, an engineering student, you apply it in your same domain, but also you can apply it in some other domain. But that skill is something that is university should be teaching. So when we
like
say
transferable skills wherever you are.
skills which can be
Like,
applied to other domain also.
can you give me one or two examples, sir? Similar,
uh, One example could be that when you have this analogical reasoning.
right?
Now, when you apply it, say in sociology,
Mhm.
you understand how data works and you are trying to find out how society functions, how individuals work in a particular social system. So you understand the upper mechanism, you try to understand that. Same thing can be applied in, I would say, an engineering application, that
Only the
how
data changes.
only the data changes.
Right.
There are some aspects, yes, you cannot compare humans versus systems, but two systems can be used. So a system which is in material engineering can also, the skills that I have to understand material sciences, I can apply in mechanical sciences also.
See,
So
because that's what mathematics has all along been. We use mathematical tools in every field,
in every field, that's true.
and probably AI is going to be used in every field going
Exactly.
forward.
Prompting and all of that. So
Right.
you can extract content from AI, but what exactly you want to extract is something that university has to teach you. And so there is this concept of far mapping and near mapping. They say that the skill sets that you have, you can apply it to same domain, that is the near skill, a near domain skill, and then you also have something called far domain skill. And actually, as a matter of fact, people argue that creativity comes only if you have capacity to see two distant things in a very new way, and that can only happen if you have that metacognitive skill where you can see patterns in two different individual systems and try to connect them, which traditionally cannot be connected.
Right. Yeah. In fact, I'm an economist, and when we look at econometrics and other topics, we look at cause and effect.
Yeah.
Whereas when I look at AI, everything is predictive. What comes next? It's
Hmm.
not the cause and effect they look at. When I look at data, I look at causality. They look at more prediction for the few. What is next?
Yeah.
So these are things that need to be taught in the university, and obviously that's going to help them in their life in whichever industry they go into, trying to figure out the relationships.
So as we say that skills have to be acquired, actually now there is this national policy for credit earning. So now they are talking about that in future degrees will not be important. It's only that what kind of courses a student has taken. So credit based system. So
Wonderful.
there is another system, I think proposal is there, and government is working on that also, which says that suppose I am a very good mechanic and I want to get a degree, but no university will give you a degree based on your experience of being a mechanic, say for 10 years or something. So the new policy allows you or universities to form or create some kind of degree program
Assessment. Okay.
assessment. So you assess them and give them, say, 60 credits is totally given for a bachelor's degree, suppose, or master's degree. Some 30 credits come from that person's experience, and 30
Interesting.
credits only they have to do.
Very interesting. Very interesting. See, right now that's the biggest crisis we seem to face. We have in the current NEET exam that passed, we have about couple of thousand seats available,
Hmm.
but 12 lakh students are taking the exam. And
Exactly.
everybody very well knows that other than the number of seats, the rest of them are not going to get in anyway.
Hmm.
And we still go through the process. And likewise, all these higher education, you need to have a degree. That's become a standard rather than the human, I think human capital management should be done differently. I think your idea of a plumber or a technician coming and getting a degree based on his skills, I think that's a reverse. It's going to be a fantastic change. Uh,
Actually, this
yeah.
is also important that how society looks at education. I remember my grandfather, he was he did his matriculation, and it was considered one of the greatest thing that he has achieved in his
Achievements.
life.
Right, right.
And my father did graduation, so people said that he's a graduate. Now I did PhD, and I see all around PhDs around me. So
Right.
India is producing a lot of PhDs. So
The
degree
demand and supply is different today.
different. Also, industry also has to look into it, that what exactly they are looking for. Are they looking for degree where the student has only got the degree because he went to school and got some kind of learning, or are you looking at the skill set? So when you are looking at skill set, then you have to look at that what kind of courses that student has taken, what kind of projects student has initiated or participated.
Right.
So I think it comes from the industry demand also. General assumption, if you think about it, computer science is one of the highest rated domain or branch in engineering right now.
Right.
Students are all running for computer science.
Mm-hmm.
But in next 2 3 years, Claude AI and all these new AI tools, coding will become obsolete.
Right.
So computer science will not be the branch that students will be going for. It's a very different kind of. So what exactly you are taking, what kind of projects, ideas that you have developed
Yeah,
will be.
that naturally leads me to the next question in on that line. 85% of the jobs that today's students will do in the 2030 don't exist yet. The Institute of the Future has predicted 70 to 90% of the current jobs will be replaced by AI. When we don't know what the future jobs are, how can we equip our students with the skills and the mindsets that will serve them well? Why education?
Very interesting question, that why education, and this question is posed to us in every class every day, that why are we studying when we don't even know what the future jobs will be. In my class, actually, what I tell students, that education is not about mapping your skill set to a specific job role. Actually, if you look at the history, universities have been very bad in mapping job roles. We have, if you look at the data, computer science students going to banking sectors, engineering, material science or mechanical engineering students going to computer science domain.
Mhm.
So this assumption that universities are teaching students for a particular job role. I also have a problem which is little difficult to understand, is that we assume that universities and institutes like NITs, IITs, and IIMs are kind of placement agencies. So you study there, and then your job is defined, and you're getting. We lose our identity as a university, as a place where students are shaped, their thoughts are shaped. So even if their future jobs are not defined, students are still with us. So our purpose has been or should be that we teach them higher cognitive functions. As I already said, that it's like about uh, cognitive architectures. We have to work on their working memory, executive functions, their reasoning capacity, their schema building. All of this that lets someone acquire whatever domain comes next. So if you have those skills where I'm learning something, but at the same time I'm learning also those higher level cognitive skills, and then jobs are not important. I can work in this domain, and later sometimes some other job role will come and I'll start working. um, Also, transfer of learning. As I said, that there's something called near transfer and far transfer, which is cross domain. So if I am teaching students how to apply your higher cognitive skills on solving problems, decision making. Now, problem solving is different in different domains. But if you understand the crux of problem solving, that how to ideate, how to conceptualize, how to do analogical mapping, then it's easy that whatever job role comes, I'll be able to fit in there. Um, Another one which is little softer side is mindset and curiosity. So there are a lot of actually faculty members also in many universities. I have seen that this what when I say that people are in silos, that I have done say sociology, then why I am interested in psychology. If I am in economics, why am I interested in say sociology? But if you think about it now, there people are calling social psychology. There's a mix of two domains. There is a entire domain on psychological finance and people, how in economics people behave in finance. So a skill set that is curiosity, trying to understand other domain also, that what exactly is studied. A very good example I'll give you, that I took some of my students to, uh, they were civil engineering students, to a nearby village. And in classroom, I was telling them that, see, when you build a road, what happens? Road is connected, so there will be a job, there will be, people will be connected with bigger cities, more transactions will happen, but it requires some kind of hospitals, schools, etc., etc. Now, so I took these students and I thought that I'll interact with local villagers. Students asked that what is that you need, maybe a school, maybe a hospital, and villagers said that we want a cremation point, and we never thought about it. The point I also realized is that what we are teaching them in a very traditional way of connecting things, but going to people, asking them a lot of stuff, understanding people's need will be very helpful. And that's where curiosity and mindset also comes in. That I cannot learn everything inside the lab, probably. I will have to go out, reach out to people, look at what their needs are. And if one has that kind of curiosity, that will allow students to polish their skill sets, maybe communication, problem solving, and that will be useful in future jobs also, probably, that we do not know. And that's my
So,
version.
as technology changes, and this has been happening all through history, as new technology comes in, obviously, I think when electricity came in, or when internet or other type of technologies, everybody felt the jobs are going to be displaced, and et cetera, et cetera. New learning, new tools they have to pick up and learn. So I think it's the same questions arise. We don't know what the future is going to be, and how are we preparing ourselves?
I
And
sir,
do you think,
I
yeah,
remember there was one of the banks in my hometown, and I remember I was very small that time, and new computers were coming in. So most of the bank employees went on strike that time, and they said that computers will come, they will take away our job. Now, if you think, a completely new kind of job system, and we are leaders in software industries.
yeah.
So completely new thing came up. So we don't know, but skill set that were required that time, probably we still have to think now. Earlier technologies did not take away our cognitive processes. So if, say, printing press came, printing press did not take away our writing skills. We still had to write. It only printed. But AI is a kind of tool which says that, okay, we can take up your reasoning capacity also, your writings capacity also. So very different kind of jobs probably will come in. We are not very sure, but yeah.
So therefore, what do you suggest? Is it all we need is foundational skills in schooling, and the rest is let them learn on the job? Or why higher education in the first place, and going forward, now that we have artificial intelligence, tutors, and information is available on the fly at our fingertips, and chat GPTs can do better essays than than what we are doing right now. So is foundational skills just enough, or do we need more?
Yes, it's a tough question. I probably don't know how to answer this question completely, but yes, foundational skills. There was this research that was done by Brown, which said that these AI and other skill sets that we are talking about are taken up well by people who have these foundational skills. So yes, we have to focus more on higher school, high school, and primary schools. But the question that why higher education is required, um, as a researcher, I would say that research is still largely done in higher education. So curiosity and other things can be taught in very primary school, but exploration cannot be done in a job. You, for a job, you go for a job. Actually, we have seen that students, when they are placed in different companies, companies consider that, okay, we don't care whatever you have learned, we will
They
train you,
retrain.
will train you for 1 or 3 months, that this is what we need, so whatever you have learned is not important. But yes, the very capacity to learn what the industry is teaching, or even when we are saying that interdisciplinarity and cross domain learning has to happen, it has to happen once your foundations are fine, you have learned those metacognitive skills, and then you have to explore what all can be connected, because this exploration I don't think that industry will allow. So higher education would be important in that
Right,
sense.
right. No, no, makes sense, sir. So, if you let us say in the age of AI, I think machines are going to be doing everything at great speeds, scale, precision. They can generate unmatched knowledge. They can speak 100 languages, unlike humans. So, given all that, what is the curriculum for the age of AI? How can we redesign the global curriculum or education? It will not be anyway assessed based on memory anymore.
Yes.
It has to be based on something else. How do you
Yes.
think the new curriculum has to look like? Very
Uh,
general terms.
yes.
Definitely you did mention that you have to equip students with some basic foundational skills where they have to be prepared for any eventuality and going into any discipline.
Yeah. So, what the curriculum would look like in the age of, say, AI. Uh, so, one of the things is that shift the assessment away from memory recall, as you said, toward transfer. So, the skill transfer, problem finding, and maybe and metacognitive regulation, which includes the things human need to consciously develop, precisely because AI is comparatively weaker there. So AI has this content component. We cannot hold so much of information being humans. So we cannot compete there. But what where we can compete is transfer and other metacognitive functions. So shift has to move there. So right now the assessment is, when we also take exams, we test them that how much they have retained the information. It's
So it's
not
not
about,
about content anymore. It's not
it's not
about
about
memory anymore.
exactly.
So
So
we need to know how to use it interdisciplinary.
interdisciplinary. That
Like you
is
said,
one.
you need to, the cognition part is more important.
More important.
Right.
Second thing is that I would also say that curriculum should be focused on some of the pillars. So I would say that, like, 5 pillars. One is metacognition, as you said, thinking about thinking. They must be learned. They must be taught. Analogical and abstract reasoning, so mapping structure across domains. Social emotional cognition, theory of mind, collaboration, negotiation, that is also very important. I'm not sure if universities actually in curriculum teach these things, but it so happens that in the peer collaboration, students learn.
We are basically assessed on our memory skills.
Exactly.
That's
Uh,
nothing else.
Another one could be embodied situated skills like perception action loops. AI still struggles with it. So even if you are coming up with some kind of robots, this action perception loop, I know. Interestingly, I'll tell you very interesting aspect. One of the studies that was done in University of California, San Diego, they found out that our visual system is divided into 2 parts. So a person can be a blind, but not necessarily blind in a way that cannot catch a ball. So what happens is that when your visual information goes to your brain, it gets divided into 2 parts. One goes to your motor area, another one goes to your visual cortex, which is occipital lobe. And people can actually say that they can act on something even without seeing something. And what they now call is affordance. So objects have this affordance, and I would say that this perception action loops, people have to know that how can I deal with an object. So objects can have multiple usage, and that is the affordance part. And last one I would say is creativity. Um, Trained deliberately rather than left incidental. So which means that
So when you
creativity.
say affordance, sir, is it sixth sense? They use the word.
Yeah, you can say call it sixth sense, but it's more about that. In computer science, a lot of people use it, and actually human computer agency and usability studies that when you design a product, it has to invite somebody to use it in a certain way. So and that is dependent on how I perceive an action can be taken on an object. So this action, earlier the theory was that first you perceive and then you act. But the newer theory says that you already know that what kind of action you can take on an object, and that shapes your perception. So, and there was another thing then curriculum should include is desirable difficulties. So spaced, effortful retrieval practice, because that's what produces durable, flexible, and learning, which matters more than content itself that keeps churning. So yeah, these three things I would say that curriculum should focus not on content but more on these principles,
Skills or
skills.
like you said, I don't know how to use the word. Do we call it a skill?
Cognitive skills, yeah, definitely.
Call that as cognitive. Okay.
One more
So,
thing that
yeah.
is one important thing, which is I think that AIs are also considering it. So your all these skills are also, I would say, very culturally situated.
Correct.
So our education system has always been very objective. So assuming that what works here also
Works
works.
everywhere, right?
So I think curriculum should also include situational, social, contextual information so that the practice that students are doing is situated.
So that's why you cannot, AI cannot generalize.
AI cannot generalize, and
Yeah,
also
it's based
if you
on, because culture is based on emotion, is based on tradition, is based on. Yeah, every situation is different.
yes.
Every location is different, and how you learn, what you learn, the nuances and other things. Yeah, wonderful. Yes, correct. Yeah. Now, given this huge digital divide that we have in India,
Yes.
and the most part of the world, how can policymakers ensure AI adoption or integration into education and employment, enhance inclusion and access rather than widening the gap? How do you think? Right, I know AI, people are saying, is maybe the big equalizer. And AI probably could solve a lot of the problems, because you don't need, we can have a million teachers. Every student can have a personalized
Tutor, yeah.
mentor or guide, philosopher,
Mm.
an assistant. So, given that, I think the digital divide definitely, unlike in other Western developed economies, where there is 10% digital divide, whereas we have 90% digital divide. We don't have gadgets in the first place. How do you think a country can address this issue? India.
Yes, so there has to be some kind of intervention. Without intervention, yes, it will likely widen the divide. Um, AI adoption disproportionately benefits people with existing complementary skills. So I would say that schools have to be, as I earlier also said, that people who have these higher level metacognitive skills use these devices better. So it's important that we focus more on school primary level and foundational things, where prompting and how to connect different contents can be taught to them. So that is number one. But it has to be like government has to make sure that all these things are taught at a very primary level. Right now, primary level schooling is still very content based. You are teaching them only language, mathematics at a very primary level. Focus has to shift at some level where you are preparing them for use of technology later. Right now we think that okay, let them get a very generic knowledge and later sometime they will learn whatever comes up, but we have to enable them to learn those things at a very primary level. Skill development again is path dependent. So early gaps in foundational literacy, numeracy, and executive function compound over a lifetime. So actually, there was this project that we were doing in some of the schools of Jammu and Kashmir, and we found that students, if they are taught at a primary level numbers, language, etc., they do well in 10th class and 12th class. So, but again, it's resource dependent, and what kind of facilities are you giving to primary schools? In India, if you think about it, primary schools are very, very basic. And yesterday we had a small interview with some of the students and those who were applying for a position called English instructors. And we asked them, so have you used any software or any tools? And they said, yes, we have used Smartboard.
Smartboard.
Smartboard. Now, that is not what we were asking. We were asking for language teaching. Did you ever use any software? So I realized that people, their technology is only up to that level where use of Smartboard is considered technology use, whereas this is not what we are looking at. So gap at foundational level is important. It has to be bridged. Without that, yes, it will create a huge divide.
So you are suggesting that on every kid, instead of investing a lot on the school fees, invest on enabling them with some level of gadgets, some gadgets. That way, at least they get introduced and they'll have access to all these technologies,
At
learning
least
technologies.
like introduce them to different kinds of technologies, and I would say how to use them actually. I remember just a small example in our school when computers came to our school. The computer lab became very like a temple. So you have to, you know, take out your shoes because it's an AC room. So it was considered as something great has happened, and only thing we learnt in our school was pressing keyboards. So there was a programming called logos, our basics. That's
I
what
see.
we learned.
Mhm.
So we had 5 lines of programming, and one student used to get a chance to type those things.
I see.
It did not help us actually. It just created a kind of a myth about computing. So first time when I used computer, I thought that okay, I didn't even know what exactly it can do. So at least at foundational level, teach them what all capabilities right now we have. Maybe not allowing them does not mean that take away basic education that they require,
Right.
but at the same time, module has to be added.
Yeah, in fact, that's interesting and at the same time very important what you just mentioned. Having these gadgets accessible also is important because a student from a very, very economically poor background, when they come in and for the first time they type their name on the computer, it's empowering.
Exactly.
Uh, so I think introduction to these things are very, very critical. They may not learn much, but I think that empowers them. They know what.
Actually, one another suggestion would be that Atal labs that they have started is a very good thing actually, where you can do the reverse engineering, you can create curiosity. So I give you a product and say that this is what it does. Break it open and see what it is doing. So those kind of labs have to be created, but it has to be functional for sure.
Unfortunately, they are still exclusive.
To some
Yeah, mostly. Predominantly, most the digital divide is very, very high at this point.
so there
Somehow
has
we
to be
need to
some
find a way to bridge it. Yeah.
there has to be some kind of policy level intervention where all
Yes.
stakeholders are involved.
Yes. Yes. So I'll move on to employment segment where I know there are a lot more questions on education, but given the time constraint, let me see if I can cover a few on employment as well. Um, Today, what they're saying is we are in a situation where entry level jobs are more or less very tough to come by.
Mm.
Routine jobs are going to go away because AI can replace anything. Previous generation industrial worker jobs were replaced by machines, the blue collar. Now the
Mm.
white collar jobs, which were about cognition, cognitive jobs, even those are going to be replaced if they're routine. And most entry level jobs are going to be routine jobs anyway. Because children needs to be students graduating, they come into a company or any office, they are going to be doing mostly routine things in the beginning.
Mm.
So if entry level jobs can be taken over by AI, and then how are we going to have middle and higher level jobs in the future?
Yeah.
No entry levels.
That's a tough question, actually. We don't know what kind of landscape of jobs will be in future, and also how things are going to
One,
change.
one
But
example I'll give you. In
yeah.
US, 80% of the jobs are customer support jobs.
Mm.
80%. When I say customer, it could be an office secretary, it could be HR, it could be all these routine desk jobs. I'm using the word customer service in general, for all these things. They're not specialized.
Okay.
So 80% of this are at, there's a chance that these could be taken over completely. 80% of them could be laid off. And the same could happen to every country. India may be lagging a little bit, but yeah, eventually.
Um, so I'm not pretty sure about middle level and higher level jobs, but that's my version again, that the concept of job has to be, rethought. I was just thinking that recently I was reading somewhere and somebody said that think about the job that we are doing. Even to go home, we have to take permission from office. Uh, how people worked last, say, 100 years back or 200 years back. Today we just wake up somehow, do our breakfast and come to office. So coming to office is like job. This is what we think, that you go to a place and do job. That's why probably I think the question of what will happen to middle level jobs or higher level jobs or lower level jobs is being considered. It's quite possible that the jobs that after AI will create will be very different kind of jobs that we have not thought in a very traditional way. So uh, recently I had a discussion with one of the guys who is running a shop, and this person was saying that, sir, Blinkit has killed us.
Okay,
In one way, yeah, that's true. Blinkit
right,
killed.
right. Yeah.
But if you think about it, Blinkit has also created all kinds of jobs. That what we call gig economy. So people are getting different kind of jobs. Yes, you have this sense of you owning a job or owning a shop is a different thing. But one person having a shop versus say 20 people delivering. So what I'm saying is that maybe the definition of job in a way has to be rethought. I'm not probably entitled or maybe wise enough to think about future.
No, in fact, this is true. We are in a flux at this point, transformation stage, where we are also at a loss to understand. That's why most of these podcasts, discussions, brainstorming sessions can help
Yeah.
frame our thought process. See, they're predicting AI. Let me read a new question, which will relate to what we're talking about. Previous generation, we had lifetime jobs.
Hmm.
They had a 2 year degree, a PG in the university level. They did a postgraduate degree, and then they have 30 years of career or 30 plus. Now, that's not the case. people are predicting they may have between 12 to 14 career changes during a lifetime. And you need to be picking up skills all along at every stage. Is AI a job killer, a job shifter, or a job creator, or all three at once? If AI can outperform humans in most tasks, what becomes the purpose of human work? How do we preserve dignity, identity, and legacy in a world where machines do more? Identity becomes an issue. I'm an engineer, I'm a doctor, I'm a professor, I'm an architect. I'm very worried these things may keep changing.
Yeah,
The
a very,
identity is gone.
very interesting question. So, job killer, shifter, or creator?
Creator, right?
So, if you think traditionally, technology has always been all three at once. So, it has killed many jobs, it has shifted a lot of things, and it has also created a lot of jobs. So, I would say the real question is not which one AI is, but it is how fast displacement outpaces creation.
Very true.
So, and who bears the transition cost? So that also is important to look at. Another thing is work provides more than income. We have always connected work with only income. So somehow I would say that structure, identity, mastery, experiences, belonging, and purpose is also connected with the kind of job that we do. Um, Preserving dignity means intentionally designing roles around distinctly human contributions, care, judgment, accountability, relationship, rather than measuring humans against machines on task completion speed. Uh, there's the last one, legacy and meaning making are deep motivational needs. Society will likely need to cultivate non-work sources of purpose.
What is
Community.
it, sir? Repeat.
I
Can
said
you?
that the society will likely need to cultivate non-work sources of purpose. So,
Correct.
community,
Non-work sources of purpose. Okay.
community, craft, creative, and civic participation alongside redesigning work itself. So, yes, uh, the AI and the technology that we have will definitely create, will also shift a lot of jobs and also kill a lot of jobs. But I would say that's part of human evolution. So, yes, we can be worried about it, but humans are very, you know, creative. We will find uh, jobs for us. So, we have to take care of ourselves and we'll find something interesting.
See, I think when we speak all these things, where we're on the verge of AI replacing production function. So we're fearful that AI is going to replace most jobs, if not all. The industrial age created education and employment linkage.
Hmm.
Prior to the industrial age, was there anything of this nature, sir? Where was there an identity related to work, or was it general identity?
Exactly, yeah, I don't think so. But can you repeat the question before?
Before the or pre-industrial age
Mhm,
societies,
mhm.
was work the identity of a human of people, or was it like this is what we may be facing very soon? Is identity decided because the 30 years of work you do is what we have in the industrial age?
Um, I may be wrong, but this is my understanding that it is so deep rooted in our culture that we are defined by the job that we do. Actually, if you think about it, not only in India but outside also, people have their caste is defined by the kind of job they do. Their identity is defined by the it has, like, people think that okay, caste is coming from some kind of social factor, but it's basically a very economic factor, I would say, that you still call a lot of people by the name
Or
that
the profession they do?
profession they do. And it's not only in India. So
right,
yes, identity was given to people based on their work that they did.
right.
But industrial age and the kind of new education that we have taken, it has somehow connected education also with that. My contention is that earlier probably that was not the case. So you did something, but you did not necessarily study the same thing that the work that you are doing. But somehow this thing got connected in industrial age, and so you study and the same job that you will get.
Right.
In future, if this happens, I'll be the very happy person if you do some kind of job that is your occupation, but you are interested in studying something else. So
Yeah, because people, they're predicting that work is going to be a choice in the future. Because machines can do all the things. Right now, we only have AI, but very soon we are going to have humanoid robots,
yes.
which are on the verge of being launched. And every human could have multiple robots. There'll be more robot population than human population. Like we do today, we have more electronic gadgets than humans. Uh, so very similar. When you look at it, when humans are no longer doing, it's only a work becomes only a choice. You want to do it or not, you decide.
Mhm.
What do you think humans would be pursuing? Given, I'm only hypothetical. It's a visualization. If machines can do everything better and faster, and so companies are going to only hire machines, are going to keep machines because they can do things faster. They don't need labor laws. They don't need pensions. They don't need salaries. They work 24 by 7. So, given all that context, um what do you think would be the role of humans if such a scenario happens?
Uh,
Just
interesting.
a hypothetical
Yeah.
visualization. I know it's something that uh, because it's something because now everybody is talking about which leads me to my next question: universal basic incomes and other things, where
Mhm.
everybody is unemployed and
I will just drift to a particular movie that very interesting movie by Charlie Chaplin. It's called Modern Times.
right,
So if you have seen that movie, it talks about that we are becoming
industrialization,
machines.
right,
So this is how people have seen that metaphorically we are machines basically. So our schools and education system is creating us, killing our creativity, and shaping us in a different form that is required by the industry. Now, as a matter of fact, hypothetically, if the machines are already there and they are doing all kinds of jobs that we had to do as machines, humans would have more opportunity to become more creative, I would say. They will pursue more of human stuff that they could not have done. So, uh, my
humanities and
huh?
humanities, fine arts,
Humanities, fine arts, and music, a lot of interesting stuff might come up. But yes, how will that be supported? We don't know. But economy will find out its own ways of supporting things. Um, some of the I would say that skills that not skills but interests that humans have. I'm, but at the same time, technology also kills your that curiosity. So, for example, the kind of content we are getting from social media. The worry is that we are losing out our humans' interests and just drawn towards what is given to us by the algorithms. That is one fear, definitely. But at the same time, uh, we'll also explore a lot of.
no, no, like you said, the missions are also that because if things which are not there, mission can't think. All the information that the data points you put are things which are already there.
Yeah,
And the mission can think will be a combination of those thought process. But humans are very creative. They can think outside the box.
they can think
At,
because they
yeah,
have this embodied experiences which AI does not have right now.
right. At
So,
this, I definitely agree on that. But the fact I see is, like you mentioned earlier in this discussion, most programming jobs with a mission can do very soon. computer programming jobs, and that may be on the cusp of going into oblivion. Same with several type of other jobs. Most of these things the machines can do, and most companies today are cut down costs or for increasing their profits. They're announcing already. IT companies are announcing 20% layoffs this year, and next year there may be another 20% in the pipeline. And very soon you would have billion-dollar companies with hardly 20 staff members. So that's definitely something not very far-fetched the way things are moving. Given the situation where most people are laid off, uh, uh, obviously we need to survive.
It's 12 o'clock.
What can be the new social contract between the government and us human beings? Is it going to? I'll ask you a few things. What do you think? Such a scenario for displaced workers. Do you agree on any of these following? Government has to do massive investment in human upskilling, cross-skilling, reskilling. Change taxation policies or reform to reduce inequalities. Has to create universal basic education. Has to create universal basic income. Has to create universal basic services for all. Government is giving all these things. It's no longer welfare. It's mandatory for everybody. Government's role is to provide basic infrastructure, housing, healthcare, education, digital tools. So, do you visualize such a scenario, sir?
Yes, in one way, basic infrastructure government has to take care. But it goes into a very different kind of discussion that the model that we are using right now is capitalist model, but that dependent on that I get a good job and I get paid well, and that's where my lifestyle will change. But if that scenario is going away and everything is done automatically, then I need basics. And then that gets into a very different kind of, I would say, communist way of looking at things. But
Is it the government still a player? Do you visualize those things, or will
I
it be the AI companies, which are global and there's no more sovereignty concept?
no. I would say that government should uh, participate in it in some level. Government has to take care what these companies are doing. Actually, that is number one. Government has to take care because companies are driven by the profit. So they don't care what humans or we are thinking. So government has to take care of that.
Right.
Basic infrastructure, education, healthcare, and all of that, government has to take care of it. I don't think that government is going away anywhere.
Okay. I think we have to, this is a question everybody is talking about universal basic income. If people are being laid off, shouldn't everybody be provide a minimum basic income? So
But
interesting thing, but yeah.
basic, but if you think about like Western world,
Mm,
they don't say basic minimum wages or income or something, but some parts is taken care. Like
mm.
you have healthcare, which is taken care of by the government. So even
Social
if the
security.
social security is there, you also have free education, maybe free transportation.
Right,
Are required to live.
right,
Now, I'm not saying that I have to live very lavishly and government must support for that,
right.
but basic is definitely government has to take care.
So last question, sir, because I know we ran out of, we are beyond our time.
Yeah.
So who would be responsible for setting the guardrails for AI in education? Is it the government, educators, tech companies, or students?
I would say all of them. They all are stakeholders, and government has to fix some kind of responsibility. They have to take care that they don't just go on and there is no regulation. At the same time, students also have to use it very responsibly. I would say society at large, because all of this is happening for us or to us. So if we just simply say that companies have to take care of it, no. Only government has to take care of it, no. I think all of us will have to take some kind of
We are
responsibility.
all stakeholders in it.
We are all stakeholders in that.
So thank you, Dr. Amitish Ojha. I appreciate the time and your intelligent, expert opinions on different
Thank
things.
you. Thank you
And I
very
look forward to more such podcasts. I think we'll come back to you with a more different set of questions, and we'll
definitely.
have much more intelligent interaction. Thank you very much for the
I
time.
must congratulate you for such a wonderful thing that you are doing,
Thank
and
you. Thank you.
continue doing it. And thanks for the opportunity to talk to you.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.